Well, I do. These folks don't necessarily. I do have some other folks with me. Let me cut to them very quickly. So we've got Jason with us this week. We've got Virginia here with us this week. Then we've got, what's your name? Charlie here with you this week. Tom as well. Sorry, Charlie. And then Susie as well, if I cut to her. She's on a lonesome. There she is. Look at her. That was a quick cut. Because fades are cuts for wimps. But let's go back to Jason and Virginia. Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I mean, I'm all right. It's my birthday today.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday!
It's been fun. It's mostly just been me eating lots of food while at work.
I witnessed.
Yeah.
All very good. All very good.
Lots of food. And Virginia is now sponsored by Scotch. So tonight will only go well.
Only well. We promise.
Perfectly fine.
Cool. Anything else you want to plug quickly you got coming up or you've been doing you want to tell us about that was really cool?
Oh gosh. Well, I'm playing on your stream on a Sunday for the spy game where we promised we wouldn't be disaster spies, but we're totally disaster spies. Yeah. So that's been a lot of fun and people should definitely come out and see that on a Sunday on this channel. Was it 4 p.m. UK time?
It is, yeah. This week I'm away at live roleplay. Yes. So it won't be this weekend. Hopefully it will be the weekend after, but I will keep you all updated.
Yeah. Aside from that, not really much apart from kind of work Modiphius stuff, which is fun John Carter things and getting to see books and layout, which is exciting.
Yeah, we got a preview out today. That was pretty cool. Lots of positive feedback from that.
All of the good artwork.
Very happy with that. Absolutely. And Jason, what have you been up to?
I've been here, there, everywhere, just getting some things in order with Encounter Roleplay in regards to Inquisitor. That's going to be happening on Mondays, 2 p.m. EST, with Charlie actually, hopefully being a part of that group still, all that good stuff. Alternating Tuesdays, going between Final Rites and Final Rites, which is all tiefling game that I run on the Nerdsmith Twitch channel. So cool. Twitch.tv/wearenerdsmith, all one word, all lowercase. As well as the Grains of Truth campaign that happens every once in a while, I hear, over on Susanna Grace's channel. It's a lovely system by R. Talsorian, and it's a lovely game that I'm so privileged to be a part of. Other than that, you can find me here. And yeah, I think I've got a pin tweet with maybe a couple of adjustments necessary. But yeah, follow all of us on Twitter and watch
Beautiful. Yeah, tags are all in the nameplates below us as well. Let's fade over to Charlie and Tom. Charlie, how are you this week? What's going on?
It's a week. I got to play my second episode of May Black Roses Bloom last night, my first episode of Cult last night.
Oh.
Both Will and Don put me through the ringer, let me tell you, and I'm not ready to be put through the ringer by you today. But I think it's going to happen because we're back here in Greenmont land.
Cannot promise anything.
It's always sunny in Greenmont land, let me tell you. But yeah, no, it's not been a bad week. I've been counting down to today. Been working on our Greenmont Cypher. We finally got our post in order with you during your... was it a prep stream or was it just a hangout? It was just a hangout,
We just hung out, but I
mean, it's a lot like the same thing most of the time.
Pretty much, yeah. But I have a spreadsheet of letters now.
We take this game very seriously.
I've got to. Otherwise, it'll just run away with me. Cool. All right. So what else you got coming up?
What have I got coming up? Well, I actually have the next 2 days off of streaming, and then on Sundays, back at it with Sky Chasers over on Tales from the Grim in the 4 p.m. Eastern slot with the wonderful Sam, Susie, Virginia. I don't know where they are. Oh, they're not on screen right now. With people you can't see, but they're here. 1950s, Americana, looking for aliens, the truth, finding guys called Clint.
Who don't know what Jane Doe is.
That was Zachary, but yes, also.
Oh, that guy. Oh, yes.
Zachary.
Oh, and Clint. Yeah.
And
Clint did it. I've called it already. Cool. All right. Thank you very much. And Tom, how you been getting on this week?
I've been okay. I've been working mainly. I spent today watering some trees, listening to Game of Thrones audiobook. So it wasn't too bad. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. I'm exhausted, but apart from that, I'm good, excited, and yeah, can't wait to see where this goes.
Sweet. Alrighty. Well, let's fade on over to Susie on a Todd. Oh, my face goes weird. How are you doing, Suze?
I'm good, thanks. How are you doing?
I'm not too bad. Not too bad. What have you been up to, and what you got coming up?
Well, I actually haven't been up to much this week because I've had cancelled streams and now I was stuck in London all day yesterday. But I've got coming up, we have Assault and Justice, which is the Judge Dredd RPG on Encounter Roleplay tomorrow at 10 p.m. GMT, which is 5 p.m. EST, in which I play Judge Judy, who is the best judge that ever was. Don't even at me. And on Sundays, we have the aforementioned Sky Chasers. Next Wednesday, we should hopefully have an episode of Bike Club. But after that, unfortunately, we will be taking a week's break from stream and I will be disappearing for things for a week because I will be in the Great White North, Canada, visiting my boyfriend and his lovely family. So, yeah.
Oh, nice. Cool. All right. Well, we'll get a lot done with Myria today to try and figure some of that out. Sweet. Alrighty. Well, yeah, as I said, no Spy Game stream this week, but stay tuned for more. We'll have more news, more reveals, more stuff coming out for it very soon with a Kickstarter this summer. So if you want to learn more about that, check out blackcatsgaming.com and sign up for the newsletter, or just check out any of my tweets and channel and stuff. Alrighty.
As a disembodied voice, I want to shout out Don, who's not with us tonight, because he's out doing a charity stream raising money for suicide prevention in the US. I want to shout that out. I think that's Jasper's Game Day, if I remember correctly. I'm not very good at names. But if you see those streams, please go check them out. Support them as a great cause. And shout out to Don, who's awesome, and should be popping by chat when he's done with his meat grinder.
Is that what he's doing?
Yeah. Castle Ravenloft meat grinder.
Tasty.
My favorite kind of burger.
All right, cool. Well, let's get this show on the road. I'll fade back over to Symon and Mara for the start of the session. Let me get my notes up here. And here we go. So Symon, this is for you to start off. A couple of weeks away, and I've got to come back to you, man.
Great. So excited.
It'll be fine.
It's fiction.
A train of carriages and riders stretches for what must be a whole league down the Rose Road out of Old Oak. The regalia and the banners hanging loosely now in the mild spring breeze, flying the colours so familiar to the Reach. Greens, golds, whites and browns, mixed with a few Dornish colours of pinks, bright reds and terracottas. The Rose Road is nothing more than a dirt track, wide enough for a carriage and a half, and as you make your way on foot from the pier that is now several leagues behind you, you are a proverbial salmon swimming up a torrent of lords, ladies, and knights on horseback. Jason, how is Symon faring this morning?
This morning, a very good question. Having secured transport, at least from Old Town, he's weary from travel, but I don't think he's at the point where he's not at the point of complete exhaustion. Not yet, but it's knocking at his door.
Sure, certainly. I've got that you wanted to just check out a little bit of what people are talking about on the way up here.
Yeah, as the caravan goes on, if there's anybody who's like stuck in the mud or like trying to maneuver themselves but having a hard time of it, he'd probably try to strike up a conversation or two with anyone who'd listen, really.
So there are a lot of carriages heading down the Rose Road towards Highgarden. So you're heading northwest on the road, basically in the opposite direction. You've got all these carriages coming towards you, all these horses as well, and basically with no certain side to the road, people are just going where they please. The carriages tend to just stick down to the centre, and then with outriders kind of just walking their horses forward, just in time with the carriages. It's not a quick procession by any means, but it does go on as far as you can see. Just from having so many people at this tournament.
Do I recognize the particular heraldries of some of the families that are sort of being processed down the Rose Road?
Yeah, absolutely, you would. And like very easily too, I think. So, I mean, this has pretty much a representation from any house that's in the Reach, because it's been such a kind of being the first tourney of the season. People have really come out for it. The Oak Hearts did a regional tournament, so that was specifically for the Reach, but there have been a few other nights and hedge nights and like traveling tourney nights that have come from other realms too. But there's kind of anything from the Ashford Colours, Caswell Costain, Cranes, High Towers, the Meadows as well, even the Peaks, the Red Wines, so all sorts of different people. And as I say, they've all got those kind of colours of like golds or whites or particularly kind of browns, and some lots of different charges as well, lots of different animals and stuff like that too. But you do see some Dornish stuff too, so there is a mix of different stuff. What you see most noticeably is one of the larger carriages as you approach in the distance. You're not sure about the heraldry to start with, but as it becomes closer, it absolutely is, and you confirm it in your head. This is the Martell heraldry with the spear through the red sun on an orange field. And they've got some outriders too, a mix of Dornish knights, so like a red flame on a yellow field. You've got some pinks of the Danes as well, outriding with them. And their heraldry is the silver, the sword in the morning, so the star that's falling down from the sky with the knight, the silver knight, on that pink field. And you also see a flag just flutter from that carriage as well. And you know it very clearly from what Sir Oliver has been telling you about his history when you were back at Fox Hollow, and that is the black portcullis on the field of sand, which is the Ironwoods heraldry.
Great. All right. What would it take to just sort of get hold of not immediately the Martells, but like you mentioned them by name, so I think Symon would go to that one more preferably. What about the High Towers? Like, if I approach them and like sort of say, "Hail and well met, traveler. What the fuck's going on?" What would that be? Would that be a status roll, a streetwise roll, or something different?
So we could do it more generally, and it'd be a streetwise roll. And this is more about listening to the kind of gossip that is going around.
Yeah, that'd be good.
So this is just as you approach different nights, there are some camp followers, as they're kind of called, as well. So there are a few people, merchants, and like carriages of empty barrels and what had livestock in and stuff like that as well that are traveling with it, just kind of more for safety, really. So you can certainly get bits of conversation through observation, as well as actually striking up a few conversations with people just to find out what happened. So you've really only got the kind of morning to do this, as I imagine you're still wanting to like head up to Old Oak and get there, actually reach your final destination.
Yeah, but following the speed limit instead of blasting over it.
Yeah, sure. So walking up through this, you get bits of conversation. This is going to be difficulty 15, just because of the amount of time you've got, but you've got high knowledge, so this shouldn't be too bad. And for every degree you get another key piece of information.
All right, and just a streetwise roll?
Yeah.
Just straight up?
Yeah.
Boom. 23.
23 is nice. Okay, so with 2 degrees. That's right, isn't it? Yeah. So people are talking about the fact that Sir Oliver Ironwood was the winner of this tournament. He won only from a bloody duel in the final tilt against his brother. The Dawn in Exile was given the title of champion and named the young Oak's bride, Lady Mara, as the Queen of Love and Beauty. And there's talk that Princess Daenerys wasn't particularly fond of that. But who listens to rumour and speculation? This guy. And the second piece of key information that you get, there are a couple of knights talking just about the actual competition again itself. They thought that Sir Gawain Oakhart would do better, but he was voted out in a controversial call by Marin Martell, who judged in favour of Sir Horatio Ironwood earlier in the competition.
So the two most pertinent things, Gawain Oakhart being screwed over in the lists by judgment versus Ironwood, Horatio.
Yeah.
And then that maybe Daenerys, literal Princess Daenerys Targaryen, might not be so like hot about the fact that she did not get the Queen of Love and Beauty, right?
No, not happy.
Great. So I'm scared. Is with that information, God, there's a part of me that says I should go for it, but that's kind of dumb.
Well, in my writing style, you should. Absolutely.
Is there any way I could hang out around the Martells and like maybe just listen in and see if the mood of Princess Daenerys is as bad as people are making it out to be, or is it sort of like, oh, it's just the tale grows in the telling. Targaryens are always mad about something, etc., etc.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. How did you want to go about this?
I'd like to mosey up to... Is there anybody explicitly with the Targaryens and not the Martells? Like, is there like a clear delineation, or is it mixed together?
There's absolutely no distinction here. So you look at the Martell carriage. It's an ornate carriage with wooden paneling that has a design. I only know the brand, but like, so it's a kind of a wooden sheet that has the design cut out of it, but kind of like stamped all over, with silks and stuff like that. It's a Martell carriage. There's no Targaryen visibility here, like in terms of any flags or anything like that. So that's the royal house. The royal house themselves aren't here. It's Daenerys is the princess, not dowager. I can't think of it quite now.
The
Consort, yeah. Princess Consort in Dawn. So she is really now Princess Martell.
Okay, well, even with that, I think as I sidle up and see this ornate carriage go by, I'd say louder than normal in Valyrian, something to the effect of we all know where the real queen of love and beauty resides. Long live Daenerys Targaryen. And in Valyrian, like not like just something for her.
Okay, cool.
Or hopefully for her, since I don't know if she's actually there, right?
Yeah. I mean, you don't. Okay.
I'll still yell it. Why not?
Sure. Roll for me. Oh, man. Deception?
Excuse me, I'm... Okay, fine.
Is she prettier than your sister? In a purely objective manner.
I would... I've never seen Daenerys Targaryen in my life, so I wouldn't know. But sure, I'd probably... Yeah, I'd probably...
I mean,
wouldn't...
I think this is more of a manipulation, isn't it?
Yeah, more than that. Like, this is just literally me, like, throwing to the winds this statement of support. So,
sure.
Hoping to catch somebody's ear. So, manipulation, right?
So yeah, this is going to be deception and bluff.
Okay. I have neither of those. I have. Hang on. Oh, what did I? Where did? Okay. I've got persuasion of 3 and seduction of 1. I'm very smart.
I'll let you. If you haven't got any bluff, I'll let you use your seduction bonus die.
Your funeral, my funeral. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Mm.
Looking at this.
That's not as good as I wanted it to be, but you know.
What did you get? Okay, you get a couple of. You get a cheer from one of the Dornish knights who are out riding, but you pretty much ignored as the carriage moves past.
I cheer to the one who did cheer.
Cool.
Sort of let the statement hang in the air for a minute and then just keep on waltzing, I guess.
Sure. And sooner or later in the mid-morning, you eventually see the castle, Old Oak. Some of its ancient wooden towers built by the first men have been built upon in stone, but originally wood, and some of its wooden construction can still be seen in the beams and the actual framework, as well as the tops of the towers still in this deep oak color. Eventually getting to the gates of the castle. Mara. This morning before breakfast, let's whiz back to the day before, as people have been leaving. It's been a day or so, I imagine. We're being a bit timey-wimey with everything, but it's been a little bit of time since the actual tournament itself, and you are with the Maester in the Maester's Tower, Old Oak. You have been called here. Sir Oliver is here receiving treatment, but the Maester has a letter for you.
Oh. Mara will thank him for treating Sir Oliver. She'll probably I want to know, how is he? How is he at the moment?
Well, the wound to his neck has caused a large amount of pain. I've had to keep him on milk of the poppy. I've repaired what I can of his throat, but I'm fearful of his speech, though he's breathing normally again. The cut to his leg, however, is another matter, my lady. He sustained a nasty slice that got right into the muscle and reached the bone. He may have trouble walking again, though I can't be certain. The burning around his wound has actually helped the healing, but I'm sorry to report that the spear that inflicted the wound was poisoned. Wolfsbane. A herb relative to the buttercup. Wolfsbane plants are long, fairly tall, crowned blue, yellow, purple, kind of different flowers. Carefully used, while wolfsbane can be a painkiller, but it can irritate the skin and cause these kinds of burns if used in a concentrated formula.
But he will live.
He is stable and as alive as he can be for now, Lady Mara. I'm afraid he is still asleep. As I say, I've had to keep him on the milk of the poppy for the pain.
She will take this Maester by the hands and thank you so much. Please, he is very dear to me. If when he wakes, when he is lucid, please ask someone to send for me.
Of course, my lady. The stranger does not discern between any kind of man or woman, and neither do I. I will take care of him as best I can.
If it's been a couple of days since the tournament, Mara has probably spent some time doing some more embroidery, and she will leave him essentially what is like another one of the favors that she gave him before his joust, and kind of tuck that up and tuck it beside him and take a moment, and she'll turn back to the mason and say, there was a letter for me, I believe.
Yes, my lady. And he passes you a little rolled up note that has been on a raven's claw. The first thing that strikes you reading it is there is a seal. The seal itself is the seal with a chain debossed on it, or embossed on it, really, rather. And it's the chain of the citadel, the Maester's tower. And then on it, scratched in ink on the outside of the note, reads this. Read this by the light of the noonday sun, circular and moving ever forward.
Okay. Mara probably knows who this is from, just from the seal.
Mm-hmm.
Is this something that she would figure out, that this is some kind of code or instruction?
Do you think so?
I think she would, because her and Symon have spent most of their the last few years communicating by Raven. So I don't think they've actually seen each other since their mother's death. Maybe a little bit after that.
Sure.
What time of day is it now?
When you receive the letter, it's getting on to the afternoon.
Okay.
Time isn't massively important for me, so if you want to make it a part of the time of the day, I don't mind.
Thank you so much for this. And she's not going to read it in the Maester's office. She's going to leave, walk back towards her rooms where that the balcony is that she first looked out, where Red Rob first arrived.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine it's quite nice and open and sunny, and I imagine there's not too many people around now because everyone's dealing with kind of people leaving and getting ready to depart. So she will stand on that balcony and she will open the letter there and hold it up to the light.
I will paste this in Roll20. Let's see how it goes. This is what you find inside. All manner of wise and definitely ciphered text. So you can try and decipher it. This is one of the Greenmont codes. Jason told me this is a difficulty 12 cipher, so that is the difficulty for your cunning decipher test.
Okay. One bit. I don't think I have decipher, but I will roll for that anyway.
So that's just straight cunning.
Straight cunning.
All right. So destiny points. You can spend destiny point. I believe spend it at least. Let's just check the old rules.
Yeah, it's spend or burn.
Yeah. So so you can do either one of those, but spending. Sure, there's one where you can actually just succeed as if you got the difficulty spot on. Automatically succeed on one test if you would roll the difficulty exactly. So if you burn a destiny point now, you can do that. But there's no other rerolls or anything like that, I'm afraid. Or you can hard skill it and try and figure it out yourself.
If you give Virginia the key to the cipher, that's all I will end up sitting here doing because I love stuff like this.
Cool.
I'll burn a destiny point.
All right. That means you'll never get it back. All right.
The letter from her brother. She'll spend as much time as she has to figuring it out.
All right, no problem. Then here it is. Give us a read of that.
I wonder if Jason should read this out.
Oh yeah, let's have a nice little voiceover from Jason.
Why not? Why not? My most beloved Mara, would that I had an ounce of Ryland's courage, or a fraction of Land's nobility. But instead, here I write, bemoaning my wretched state, whilst our father lies dead. Forgive my absence and my folly. With this message, I declare to you my loyalty to House Greenmont and renounce my responsibilities to the Citadel. I ask for your aid and the aid of your husband's houses and allies in securing the continuation of our line by absolving me of my vows of maestership. I travel to Old Oak tonight, and will endeavor to meet with you soon, that we might discuss avenues by which we would bring this fantastical unlikelihood about. I beg your forgiveness, and ask that you pray for my sake at the altar of the old gods and the new. Dearest sister, forget me not, as I forgot you. With love, Symon.
I'm going to get everyone to read their letters. That's awesome.
Mara reading this is probably in tears for so many reasons. The mention of her father, who she still hasn't really given herself time to grieve for. The fact that her brother has given up the one thing that she knows he really wanted to do. I guess there's a little bit of a tinge of sadness as well that she doesn't carry the Greenmont name anymore. But also that little bit of kind of excitement and happiness that she's going to have her somebody of her family is going to be there. At which point she'll probably go and take the letter and put it away in her room. She's probably got a small little box where she's kept lots of Simon's letters and letters from her father and stuff over the years. Okay. And she's going to go and find Alistair.
Sure. Alistair is actually in the yard. You can see down the balcony. He's talking to a couple of hedge knights that are still here, even though the last of the carriages are starting to leave. And there's some... what's the word? It's very kind of not raised voices, but there's kind of like you can see there's kind of like some abrasive conversation. They clearly want something, and he's there trying to calm them down a little bit.
Can I tell what they're kind of arguing about or talking about?
Sure.
As I approach.
Yeah, certainly. So you as you approach, you start to hear the knight in front really is a you don't recognize his face, but you do recognize the blank red tabard that he's wearing, and it's the same kind of tabard and colours as the tawny knight that Sir Oliver Unhorsed was wearing, or at least was fielding when he was in armour. He's wearing very simple clothes now. He is still actually wearing a gambeson. He has no arms to him, so no sword, no shield next to him, anything like that. And as you approach, you hear him say to your husband, "Well, I can't leave if I don't have my horse. So I'd like to sort that out, my lord, if I may." And as you get to the conversation, the knight takes a step back, but still with shoulders fairly back and raised, standing quite tall. Your husband a little... he's quite tall. So standing above him a little, your husband turns down to look at you and says, "My lady, perfect timing."
She'll smile at Alistair, and she will kind of look over to these other two knights and say, "My lords?"
You have a queue of knights wanting to see you. Well, not you, but Sir Oliver. These knights are owed their arms, armour and horses back for ransom, but Sir Oliver is not here to make demands, so...
Unfortunately, he is still recovering. He's doing well, but he is in no fit state to see anybody, I'm afraid.
Perhaps you could treat with my good lady wife, he says to the knights as they look at you expectantly.
Please, good sirs, what is it that you wish? Your horses, your arms, your armor?
Yes, all of those things, my lady.
Do I know what I would be expected to ask for in return?
Like money, like literally
Money.
ransom. Yeah, you get.
Do I know what would be like a reasonable amount?
Yeah, sure, absolutely. So as you get talking, as you learn a little bit about the what stuff is worth. I've done a little bit of maths for you in preparation. So what eventually they're kind of offering. So it's not like you're buying a new fresh animal or you're buying like ready-made armor or anything like that. It's not going at like kind of proper market rates. It's more like kind of second-hand, half-price type deals. The Courser, the red hedge knight, is offering a gold dragon and 40 stags. His fairly poor plate armor, he's surprisingly offering 100 silver stags. So that makes it 1 gold and 140 stags total. There's a better tawny knight as well. He's got a destroyer that he's so a very large horse. He's willing to get back for 2 gold dragons, and he's got full plate armor worth a gold dragon. So he's offering 3. It's just a kind of flat rate, basically. But if you'd like to make a bargain check for me, then hopefully we can wear these guys down and you can get a little bit more money for Don.
That is exactly what Mara will do. What do I roll for bargain? I'm so sorry.
So this is going to be persuasion, and you're going to add any bargain specialty dice that you've got there.
I don't have that. Does my attractive quality help here?
Yeah, sure. Add a +2. As they don't think that you can be both beautiful and cunning, except you are quite cunning, so you manage to use that to your advantage. And
how do I add +2 on this?
let's just maybe if you want to click the roll, we'll just add +2 at the end, or if you want to type it in, then you can add 2 at the end.
It'll be a straight roll because I don't have bargain, but
that's cool.
It's 15, and then do I roll dice?
No, so that's it. So so 15, adding the 2.
Yeah, so 15, so it'll be 17 in total then.
Oh, it's just shy of 3 degrees of success. But with 2 degrees, you get Sir Oliver another 24 silver stags. So your actual grand total is 4 gold dragons and 164 silver stags.
Okay.
For those at the back, there are 210 silver stags to a gold dragon, because 7s are important, and thanks, George.
Do I need to write down this number, Sam?
Yes.
Sorry, can you repeat it again for
That's
me?
right. You got 3 gold dragons.
Yeah.
And 164 silver stags.
Okay.
About £3.50. No. No. About I don't know, 30 grand or something probably. Yeah, gold dragons are decent. That's actually a lot of money. It's more than a peasant will probably ever see in their lifetime, kind of thing. So these guys get their armor back and all their horse and whatnots. They part with a little bit more money than they really wanted to, but your coin purse is now a little bit more weighty. You also find out through talking to the tawny guy. What's his name? But like the organizer, as they've got a kind of master of tournaments here as part of their house holdings, and it's a permanent fixture for the house. You learn from him that actually Sir Oliver has inherited a black destroyer from another knight that he unseated that just couldn't be fucking bothered. So he's got a black destroyer, which is the largest horse and is great for tournaments. Gives you kind of height advantage and all that kind of stuff, like you kind of shire horses, as I know them. And he's got some half plate armor, and having a look at this half plate armor, it's clearly from a Meadows Knight because it's got green enamel all over the field and it's embellished and painted with all different flowers, colors of golds and blues and reds and pinks and all sorts of stuff all around the edge. The kind of because of the half plate, but it's got a little overlap just where I don't know the posh word for it, but like the skirt of it just at the bottom of the breastplate is all embellished with like a almost a bouquet of different flowers and stuff. But it is quite garish, and shines with the enamel, apart from a massive dent where Sir Oliver hit him.
She will ask this gentleman, could he look after the horse? Could he stable it until Sir Oliver is well enough to decide whether or not he'd like to keep the steed or sell it on?
Yeah.
And the same for the plate. I will ask to have that taken to. I'm assuming we have an armory of some kind, or to Sir Oliver's room, and left there for him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've got little stables and stuff here, and you can bung the armor and stuff in his chambers and whatnot.
But once Mara's kind of had to deal with all of these people are asking her stuff, she wants to basically turn to Alistair and say, "Could we go for a walk? There's something I'd like to discuss."
Yeah, of course. And he takes you out to the Godswood.
She'll walk, hand around his arm, say, I received a letter from my brother, from Symon. You trust me, don't you?
Of course.
He's cast off his chains.
Can Maesters even do that?
I don't know. But the death of my father, it's hit everybody hard, I think. Myria, she's alone in Summerhall, and I would very much like to get her back, at least with me, if not home. I spoke to the Princess Daenerys and hoped that she might give some favour to the cause, but I need a reason to bring her back here. You have cousins?
A couple. Sir Gawain at Highgarden, obviously.
The promise of a future marriage might be enough to bring her home.
She's young, isn't she?
She is. That's exactly why she doesn't need to be at Summerhall around strangers.
It's going to be difficult, Mara. There were traitors on all sides, and
I know. But please say you'll try to help me.
I'd like you to make me a persuasion convince test. So this is going to be against just passive will.
Okay.
And as usual, all the important people, I don't think I've started. No, I totally did. Wait, no, I did. Here he is. Yeah, here he is.
Yeah. It's a real husband on a piece of paper with stats.
It's a real husband. All right.
So persuasion convince, yeah?
Yeah, persuasion convince. This is just going to be against passive will, because
14?
A little interjection. Was there not a bond that they formed through some sort of destiny point that allowed her to roll more dice when interacting or otherwise acting with her husband?
Yeah,
Dice that strengthen, to test that strengthen our union. Confiding in him.
But you want something out of him rather than just the wholesomeness of building this relationship. This is like, I want you to do something for me.
Isn't that what you do for the people that you love?
Exactly.
You can't manipulate the GM like you can in the characters. So you can stop that now. So no. So this is you wanting to get something out of him. So no, this does not apply. Luckily for you, you passed. Yeah. So he says, I'll do whatever I can. And then I imagine there is a bit of from him at least, kind of more a loving embrace.
Yes, she'll accept it like genuinely.
Mhm.
She's very, very happy. She's Symon is on his way here. Now, I hate to speak ill of your Lord Father and Lady Mother, but they don't particularly have a fondness for Dornish men. They tried to bar me from being walked down the aisle by Sir Oliver because he was Dornish. I don't even know if you knew that. Your father almost refused to let me enter that sept. Now, I have Dornish blood. My brother has Dornish blood. And I know that they will not take well to him coming here, having cast off his chains. I would really like to keep this from public knowledge, for his sake, more than anything. He's lost enough already. But please say that you'll host him here for as long as he needs, please. I don't know what his purpose of coming here was. Something to do with the house. Greenmont. Things don't look good.
Yes, of course. I mean, it's family now. And it doesn't matter what kind of blood you've all got, you know.
Not to you. And she'll kind of reach up and, give him a nice stroke across the face in that very loving way. It's
Yeah. He was about to say something and he kind of it just fades away for a second. Do you want to strengthen that
yes.
bond? All right. So, if you could roll for me a persuasion, providing this is genuine and you want to strengthen this relationship, cool. So for him, I need you to roll persuasion, either seduction or charm. It's up to you, really.
Gonna go with charm.
Cool. And then this is gonna be applicable to your marriage vows and your destiny spent destiny point. So
this is a +1 bonus dice.
You wrote it down. It's on a blog. It's on a blog somewhere, so I could hunt around for it.
I've got it.
Be a very
+1
boring
bonus die to test that strengthen your union.
Boom! There you go. All right, +1 bonus dice.
So shall I just up the bonus dice for charm by 1 then?
Yeah, just do it for now.
Way.
Just do it for now. Make sure you bring it back down.
20.
Nice. All right. So you spend this time together, and this time together builds your strength of your relationship. Lovely. So we are going to move all the way over to Summerhall next. It'll fade away with Myria.
Hello.
Hello. Myria is in a classroom of Summerhall dance practice with Harris and Lyra. Sept Ingrid is leading practice and is tapping away with her stick. Tap, tap, tap. Short and thin, standing at eye level with Harris, her hard-featured, iron-born face is framed by her scepter's habit. Link arms, 2, 3, step, 2, 3, walk round the man, 2, 3, come to the hold, 2, 3, and there is a pause. As the two of you have gone through these steps, you've walked around Harris, and you've come to a hold, face to face, him being slightly taller than you, and there is a moment. What's Myria doing in this second?
I think this is probably the first time she's danced, or one of around the first times that she's danced with someone who isn't like Sir Oliver or who isn't family. So I think she's kind of like low-key, kind of embarrassed a little bit. You know how young people are when you try and the school dance where boys and girls are the other side of the hall. She's kind of low-key embarrassed a little bit. So she's kind of slightly blushing, I think.
Sure. How so I don't know stats wise, but how graceful is she, or how clumsy is she?
Well, she's not clumsy as in like a fault, but she does have like an agility of 2.
So she's just she's
Just average.
she's doing the steps. She's got the rhythm,
Yeah.
but it's not ballet. Okay, cool. There is a second as Harris looks towards you, towards your face, and into your eyes, just for a second. And that second is snapped out by a cane hitting the floor again, and Ingrid just saying, "Leave room for the 7, child."
Myria like flushes red.
Yeah. Harris pushes you away a little bit. Like the hold was a bit too close.
I imagine we both just go
like stood up like that. Yeah. Cool. All right. So with that practice, it's Lyra's turn, and she links arms. So you get to go to sit back down just across the way, and you watch her perform the same routine. She links arms pretty tightly with Harris, turning to look at him, walks around him gracefully with a little extension in her leg and her other arm, looking just like the crane of her family crest. And as she comes to a hold, she looks Harris square in the eye at eye level. Lyra's a bit taller than most of the other girls here, and the two smile at each other for a moment until Ygritte slams down her cane and yells, "Lord Harris!" And the two of them split again. Lyra's cheeks beginning to burn a little scarlet red. It's at that moment that a young Dornish handmaiden enters, in flowing silks, curly black hair, and presents you with a letter. It's a little letter that's been so a short piece rounded up like it's been on a raven's claw. And she says, "My lady, this came for you from the citadel." And on it is the crest of the citadel with the chain embossed, and the seal still intact.
Thank you. When did it arrive today?
Yes, it arrived a little while ago. The Maester has got me delivering notes.
Thank you. And she'll take it.
Cool. All right.
Pop it. Read it.
This is for you in the Roll20 chat.
All right, Jason.
All right, a lot of reading today. Disembodied voice here. It should be noted that in the beginning there will be a pause. It's indicated on the note by like a little ink stain, as if the quill was sort of placed there, unsure of what the next word would be. So here's how it is. My most beloved Myria, a brother you have never met weeps with you, given the news of our father's passing. So far removed are we from where he is. So far astray do we tarry. One because of choice, the other by circumstance. You do not know my face, but understand that my heart still dwells within House Greenmont. I had forgotten for so long, but I will set this right. You shall not be the last of our line, this I promise. All that remains to determine is our future, and I go to meet it gladly. I make for Old Oak, and will endeavor to write you throughout my travels. Stand by our words, Myria. For when all fails, family shall prevail. With regret and hope in equal measure. Symon.
It's then you realise that Harris and Scepter Ingrid have left the room, but Lyra remains, and from behind you, she asks, "Who's it from? Is it more news about your father?"
No, it's from my brother.
Your brother? I thought you didn't have a brother.
I had 3. 2, unfortunately, didn't make it. But another went to the Citadel before, well, when I was a very, very small child.
When you explain this, you glance back up at her, and she is like looking down, scanning the letter. You can see her lips moving a little bit just as she reads a few of the words.
You know, you could have asked me if you wanted to know what was in the letter.
Sorry. What's it say?
There's a lot of fluff in there about love and family, but he's never really been a brother to me. Well, we've never met. I've never seen him before. Even before we were sent here, he never visited, never did anything. I think this is the first I've heard from him.
Well, is he just offering condolences? Or what does he say?
Well, there is condolences, and I won't forget you, even though he clearly did. But also he's apparently a huge idiot.
Why?
You know, I said he was at the Citadel.
Yes.
He's not anymore.
What?
By this letter, he's thrown away his chain and he's going to Old Oak when my sister was due to be married. I didn't even know your maester could do that. Did you?
I don't think they can. It's like the black. You take the blacks for life. You can't.
You have an oath, and you do not break that oath.
It's very strange.
It is. I don't quite know what to make of all this, really. I don't know what he's hoping to achieve by doing this.
I wonder if there's anyone we can talk to.
I don't know. I mean, we could ask the Maester here but I don't know.
Thing is, do you want anyone here to know that he's doing this?
I mean, I'm already the daughter of a traitor. I don't want to be the sister of an oathbreaker.
Exactly.
Oh, why are the men in my family such idiots?
Because they're always idiots. Come on, let's go get some lemon cakes.
Ooh, and she'll tuck the note away and dash off with Lyra.
Nice. All right. I know it was brief, but we're going to head over to Fox Hollow and move on over to Alfred. This is for you, my man. Where are we? Your captive asks, breaking his silence of 2 days, as Babblebrook has been the one to set the pace for the march back to Fox Hollow Hall. It's been a very slow pace because he has had this wound inflicted, slice up the side of his torso and up almost underneath into an artery, essentially. You can see, and it's been getting worse, this bandage that's underneath his armor, his gambeson, as he's taken off some of his more protective chainmail and such. This bandage is beginning to look like more rusted red and browner by the day. And the smell you've grown accustomed to, but it's already going a little rotten. It hasn't been changed, and you've been on the march, essentially. Fox Hollow now isn't far at all. It's just over the ridge, and then it drops down into the actual kind of grounds themselves. The captive that you have was that kind of rogue, sellswordy type kind of sergeant. Yeah. Has a couple of wounds himself, but has, as I say, kind of remained silent for the last couple of days. even as you've kind of like pulled him along. Occasionally he's had to sit down, even with like dashes of water and like trying to get him back up and forced marched. He's remained silent, kind of fairly stoic, but his gaze is always alert and he's always looking around him. He's been studying the both of you a fair bit too, as well. And he gets a tug from one of the couriers. He says again, "Where are we?"
Alfred has pretty much ignored him most of the journey. And now that we are very close to the end, is it how many more hours would you say until we get to Fox Hollow?
Mate, you'll be there in like 20 minutes.
Oh, fantastic.
You'll be through the doors in 20 minutes.
Even better. He turns to the captive and just looks him in the eye, and he goes, "A journey's end," and carries on walking.
And this guy, it starts with his lips closed, this kind of rumble of a laugh from his chest that then escapes out of his open mouth as he kind of roars into the sky, and just starts humming a little tune to himself as he walks.
I let him hum. At this point, can I have another look at Sir Babblebrook's wound again, to kind of gauge just what kind of immediate treatment once we arrive at Fox Hollow he could potentially need, as in whether or not we have to cut away the rotten flesh, then burn it again, or whether it's just a simple need of cleaning it, or whether the infection has spread.
Sure.
Just to basically get a general look.
Yeah. You take a break, and peel away some of the bandaging. It's been done in quite a bit of haste. So Babblebrook has just kind of been almost annoyed by the fact that he's had to do this. So if you make for me a healing check, it's going to be diagnosis, is going to be the specialty dice.
Okay.
And this is actually just going to be difficulty 9.
Okay. 4. No, I haven't got a blooming clue.
Okay. It's quite dried, some of it's a little pussy, and some of the skin itself is very cracked around the cut itself. As you peel away the bandage, some of the scabbing and the dried blood pulls away at the wound. He lets out a little kind of woof almost as you pull away. And it's clearly in a bit of pain. But it's not looking great. And you know that essentially like it's gonna need cleaning up. And this, if this, you know enough that if this stays like this way, then he's going to succumb to infection and stuff like that.
He'll place the bandage back again very gently. He'll get up and tap him on the shoulder, and he'll go, "Not too much longer now. We're almost home."
He gives you a nod. His eyes are a little glazed over as he slowly makes his way back up. And it's then that you start with a little wheeze, a little cough, that then keeps going, and you hack up a fair amount of phlegm. As you reach around your neck, it's slightly swollen, and you are a little hot in your leather armor.
I'll take a drink and thing, and then splash it on my face, and then readjusts himself to kind of like for the final leg, and and just carry on marching.
Sure. You make your way down through the grounds and then into the main doors of Fox Hollow Hall. And through an antechamber, you then enter the main Great Hall. A couple of the couriers pass you, the captive, and head off to go and get the lady of the house. Is there anywhere that you want to take him particularly, other than the Great Hall?
I'm assuming we have some sort of, not so much like a complex dungeon, but even maybe a storeroom that's secure or something that we can shove like a criminal or something that is secure.
Oh, you would have a cell.
Yeah.
I think at the very least.
In fact, I wouldn't even probably take him to the Great Hall. I'd immediately take him to the cell, lock him up, post guards there, and then head to the Great Hall to inform Lady Myria of what we...
Sure.
After escorting Sir Brabblebrook to... would we have... would our Maester... Do we have a Maester?
You do not have a Maester.
We do not. So do we have anyone apart from Lady Myria that has trained in healing? Would I know that? Like, if we got like a basic...
Not really. Not someone purpose kind of built for it. Babblebrook has a little knowledge of healing from his time, but it's not here. He wasn't schooled in it. It's not a training he has particularly, just stuff that he's picked up.
We'll go straight to the Great Hall and to Lady Myria. She'll be the one. So after that, even if I attempted to help Sir Babble, I don't think he would take my offer of help. He's too prideful. So I'll stand next to him, but always never in front of him. I'll always be to his side. So if he stops, I'll stop. So we enter the hall side by side.
Sure.
Together.
No problem. So the guy's down in the cell, and the two of you head into the Great Hall. Myria, the couriers have arrived to say that Sirs Babblebrook and Alfred have arrived back. They've arrived with a captive.
A captive?
Yes, my lady.
One of the raiders?
Yes, we believe so.
Right. And she'll pull on like a heavy kind of coat, I guess is the equivalent. Heavy kind of long blazer type thing. She's taken to wearing lighter dresses at the moment because she's just constantly uncomfortable. And just light layers seem to be the way to go, but she wants to look a bit more formal, so this heavy kind of house coat goes on.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll go down to the Great Hall, where I assume she's told they are.
Yeah, absolutely. The couriers flank you on either side as you walk in. Where are you heading? So Sir Alfred and Babblebrook are kind of standing, I would imagine, fairly kind of central of the hall, a little bit more towards the dais. It's up to you whether... I mean, the two significant options are probably either to kind of stand or sit on the dais, or just to talk to them kind of more personably, kind of much closer face to face.
I think if she goes into the room and she doesn't see a stranger in there, she'll go and talk to them face to face, i.e. the prisoner's not there. But if they were, then she would go and sit on the dais and assume that position.
Sure, yeah. This stranger isn't here. It's just the two of your knights.
Sir Babblebrook. So wild.
My lady.
I'm pleased to see you returned.
Thank you, my lady.
Something wrong, Sir Babblebrook?
He goes to speak. You look down, look at his body up and down, and you can see there's bandage hanging from his right-hand side.
And I imagine like
stuffed
smell
underneath.
It. I think like that's a smell she's real familiar with.
Yeah. It's just an unclean wound, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
You don't smell any particular infection or anything that would signify any immediate problems with Sir Babblebrook in terms of disease or anything. Sir Alfred's also looking pretty worse for wear, but with no visible bandages or injuries on his person.
You're injured. What happened? Sit down. And she'll go. I imagine there's like a long table in here because this is our great hall.
Yeah.
She'll awkwardly pull out a chair for each of them.
I keep forgetting she's pregnant, but absolutely, yeah.
Super pregnant.
Super pregnant.
So Alfred will stand, but he'll help
Sure.
Sir Bubblebrook to sit down.
Cool. Yeah, he does. He's like holding his right hand side as he sits, and he kind of, and it's actually then it's very kind of apparent that him standing up has kind of taken the wind out of him a little bit, and he's like, now he's kind of catching his breath again.
It's wild. Bubblebrook, what happened?
My lad.
He goes to speak, and he kind of instinctively. We found the raiders. We fought them and killed them, and we took one prisoner to question on where they came from.
As he coughs, I think Marcy's hand like instinctively does the like to the back of the back of the hand to the head thing. Having been treating the woman and her son and suspecting maybe something similar going on but not being certain. Does she feel fever? Would you like me to do a diagnose?
No, I'm going to make this an automatic success. So this is the same symptoms as her son, and it looks like Sir Alfred's contracted the choking fever.
Her eyes go wide, and she recalls that dream of Alfred bringing the vultures to Fox Hollow. We must move you both to the ward immediately. Must treat you. Alfred, it appears you have the choking fever. And so, Bubblebrook, I have to clean this.
I can stand, my lady. And he pulls himself back up out of this chair, and would make his way with you very slowly towards your treatment room.
And she kind of waddles along the corridor, down into the treatment room, and once in there, pulls off her housecoat and on this heavy apron, and starts the water boiling. She'll probably call for one of the servants to come and help her because it's a rather large job for one person, especially a pregnant one.
Alfred stands next to you as if instinctively to assist, with helping Sir Bubblebrook.
Alfred, sit down. You're in my way.
I can help, my lady.
No, you can't. Heavens forbid you give him what you've got. Go down there. And she kind of points you towards the end of the room, where the woman and her son are probably still kind of healing.
He nods and sheepishly walks down the other end.
Oh, actually, she won't call for a surgeon. She called for their mother to come and help her. Because the mother was fairly well off last I saw her.
Yeah, the mum's feeling a lot better.
Prepare some water for me. And she'll look to Sir Bubblebrook's leg first.
Okay. The leg's been scuffed up. I believe he only sustained one wound. So, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've only got one wound on the character sheet.
I think it was just one, yeah.
I think it was just one.
So it's the slash to the right-hand side, down the side of the torso. That was a kind of like an uppercut towards the armpit, which can be quite a lethal blow if it actually followed through properly. The wound itself is pretty gunky. Has had some fresh bleeding now. When Sir Alfred just had to check to see how it was getting on. But essentially, it just needs a bit of cleaning, and you have an opportunity here to heal the wound, to treat injury rather than ailment.
My apologies, Sir Bubblebrook, but I must endure this indignity for a moment. 14.
Cool. Let's just check the
So healing is used to treat the injured and speed along the natural recovery process. To treat a patient in this way, you must attend to the patient, spending at least 1 hour every day with the patient. Spending at least 1 hour every day. The patient must rest. Rest.
So with wounds, it depends on how much you do. Well, injuries and wounds are the same.
Mm-hmm.
So he's had some travel and some physical activity. So the difficulty for this week for healing the wound is a hard 15. So that treat injury is a 14.
Mm-hmm.
So you clean the wound up, I'm going to say. So there's no risk of any more infection. But he's still going to be recovering until the next game week, at which point we can have another go. To Sir Alfred, I guess, then.
Yeah, she'll have kind of just cleaned away the wound to get a really good look at what's actually going on with it, and then just do her best to patch it. But I think because it's been a week and it's been traveled on, or it's been some time and it's been traveled on, there's only so much you can really do anyway. At that point.
Yeah, he needs some time.
So she'll have the mother whose name I didn't write down. I don't know if she was given one.
I don't think she was. Chat, people not in shot, give us a quick
So yeah,
name.
she'll have her bring down the hot water, preparing to deal with any sores and things she sees. Sir Alfred, you'll need to remove that shirt. And she'll be like testing his temperature. She's got like a cool, I guess, like a dish of water type situation.
Nice.
So Alfred will, again, sheepishly and somewhat embarrassed, take the shirt off. He's not entirely sure if what's appropriate, if this is appropriate for a lady, because he's still in that mindset, and all the confidence from him being out in the wild is just gone, and he's back to awkward, very embarrassed Alfred.
All right. So Braith helps you unclothe Alfred, and puts the shirt to one side, yeah. So you've got a chance here to. So as you have a look over him, there are no like little lesions or putty spots or anything like that on him. His only real symptoms at the moment, as it's this kind of early stages of the disease, are the inflamed glands and temperature that he's running.
Did you say her name was Braith?
Yeah.
Okay. Braith, keep him cool as you have with your son. I suppose I better go and collect some leeches.
All right. So as you gather them up, the couriers just ask you, my lady, what's to be done with the prisoner?
I'll see to him now. Have him prepared. She has no idea what you do to a prisoner. She assumes prepared is the correct word.
Cool. All right. They just nod and they go off back down to the cells.
She'll take Alfred's shirt and just throw it in the fire on her way past. Apron comes off, house coat goes on.
Oh, wow. Okay. Multitasking. All right.
That was my new shirt.
Okay, so he is brought to the Great Hall, and I imagine you are going to kind of stage a little thing. So you on the dais, I would say, probably.
She is sat on the dais, and Salustroya, her shadow cat, is kind of curled up next to her.
Nice. I'm going to give you +2 to intimidation checks for having that cat there. But to intimidation, that's that technique.
Okay.
You're going to go first, as this is your hall, this is your dais. So this is an intrigue which my NPC has an objective for, so we're going to run one. Have a little think about yours, whether that's information or whether that's I don't know if you want to befriend the guy, but whatever.
She wants information.
Sure.
She has a theory and she wants to see if she's right or not.
All right. Pick a disposition as well.
Yep, I'm just opening up that intrigue sheet
Cool.
because I closed it by accident.
Oh mate, no worries. We're doing it
Rookie error.
We're doing it all properly this time. Like it's not have to think about it too hard. So we're getting warmed up. It's only the 4th session
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting back into swing of things. This used to be my like 5th ed combat. I just used to know like, right, we're gonna do this, use these techniques, different actions, all sorts of crazy stuff. All right, cool. So I've got my objective. I've got my disposition.
I have my disposition.
Great. Why don't you kick us off?
Okay.
Yeah, let's give the slap. Yeah, all right. So, what technique did you want to use for this first round?
I think for this first round, she is going to use Intimidate
Nice.
as her opening gambit.
All right, cool. Give me some of that juicy roleplay.
Sure. So she sits perfectly straight in her posture. I imagine Salistraya's tail is just flicking because she knows that Marcia is not in a good mood. And she doesn't like being told to sit and being told to sit in the Great Hall. So Salistraya is also not in a good mood. There's nothing to play with here, nothing to chase, nothing to eat. And then this guy comes in, smelling of the road, the stranger. And Marcia raises one eyebrow really slowly. How dare you wander onto my lands, kill my property? Brave. Stupid.
Nice.
And she just relaxes back. She is like,
this is my hall. This is my cat. Yeah, absolutely. All right. I'll give you a bonus dice for that.
okay.
On top of whatever bonus dice you've got for intimidate. This is persuasion. I don't think you're trying to deceptively be more intimidating than you can. This is pretty genuine to me.
Yeah, she's pretty pissed.
Mm-hmm.
So persuasion. And then you said plus. Sorry, I clicked the button.
So apply your modifier based on disposition 2, but then +2 for your shadow cat.
My persuasion is -4.
Mm-hmm.
+2 for the shadow cat, so that goes to -2. So I'm going to do the maths in public because my brain doesn't work this way. So that would be -2 would go down to an 11, I guess.
Yeah, so an 11 versus his intrigue defense. Which I need to let me get my NPC up here first. Why don't I do that? It's clever, isn't it? That is 1 degree of success. So this is a straight up influence action, is it? Try and knock some composure off him.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. So intimidate is will rank. So whatever your will rank is.
My will rank is 4.
4. All right.
With 2 in dedication.
Oof. That is not gonna go through, I'm afraid. As he stands, he looks pretty sorry for himself. Is a fairly muscular man, ripped up shirt. It's probably been stripped of any armor. The shirt is cut more at the shoulder, and his muscular arms are bare. He's got a heavy bandage on left elbow. All fairly properly done up, strangely in comparison to Babblebrook's haphazardly, kind of in haste bandaging of himself.
It's very hard to bandage yourself.
Yeah. And I am going to try and convince my lady. Where are we? And he looks around. And he looks around for any kind of heraldry that he can see. And above the chair, above the like little kind of your little throne.
My little throne.
Your little throne, little wooden throne, is the Greenmont shield. And he looks for a second, and he recognizes Greenmont. You see it run across his lips. My lady, the farmstead we attacked, we thought it belonged to the Blackmonts. My lady, we know you fought for Blackfyre, and we don't mean you any harm. We're old sellswords, ex-sworn Dornishmen who, like you, staked our lives and reputations on Daemon Blackfyre. We find ourselves without a home. We're just trying to survive. Please let us live. And I'm going to roll. A 9 against your intrigue defense.
Let me take a look. Nope, that doesn't.
All right. So back over to you then. You can lower or raise your disposition. Remember, if you wanted to do that. But it's back over to you to pick a technique and an action.
I think I would like to continue intimidate.
Mm-hmm.
An expensive mistake. Is it not? What if I levied the cost of flesh against yours? You killed livestock. That is not just something that feeds us now. Something that feeds us, sustains us. How do you make such a mistake? The Blackmonts are on another mountain. What am I going to do with this information? What am I going to do with you? How can I believe what it is that you're telling me? Convenient, isn't it? And she's really just going to narrow her eyes down at him, these pale gold green eyes. So I need to roll, I guess, again, persuasion. Okay. And that is... Again, it won't go through. Because it's the same modifiers.
Sure. All right. He begs you, please, my lady, we were honourable people once. Knights, squires, men at arms, all loyal, all true. Just on the wrong side of history. We paid our price. I'm sorry we had to do what we did to feed ourselves. And we're sorry we did anything to harm your holdings, your holdfast. We do not mean the old allies of the Blackfyres any harm. If you took me into your service, I could show you. I could bring you these men. I could serve you loyally. I did once before. And I am going to roll. Oof.
Ooh.
But that, let me look. What did I pick again? Okay. It's going to be a 16 overall.
Yep.
Is that 1 or 2 degrees with your intrigue defense?
That will be 2 degrees because it's every 5, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. All right, so that is going to be 6 influence.
Okay.
If you've absorbed that with your DR, don't worry too much. Otherwise, mark it
Right.
off. Yeah, he is just essentially trying to bargain for his life.
Sam,
Yeah.
could I enter?
Yeah, of course,
Yeah.
man. Absolutely.
And he's going to be with his longbow and his arrows. He hasn't got any armor on, but he's going to stand up and basically just stand in his usual position where he would be, and just stand silently.
Okay, cool. With that anyway, with your presence, I can say you can assist Marzia anyway if you didn't want to take your own actions. So we can either we can probably, I think, skip it a little bit in terms of like rolling for the assist every time. What is your persuasion rank rounded down? Sorry, it's half your persuasion rank rounded down.
Well, my persuasion is 2.
Okay.
So 1.
So add another 1 to your rolls there, Marzia. From the old assist from Alfred.
And that's a +1, not an additional dice.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Cool. Back over to you. Remember, you got a few different actions as well, like you kind of retargets and your considers and stuff like that. To help
That's what
you
she
out
was trying to
some
do
more
last
dice.
time, but she failed, I think.
So, if you want to retarget to kind of get an idea of what this guy's about, see what he's figuring out, it's actually an awareness empathy check.
Oh, okay.
And so this is against his passive deception. And
Okay.
if you beat it, then you get to learn his disposition, and you also get to learn what technique he used. And you also get a tasty +1 keep dice against him for the rest of the intrigue. So this could be
Okay, do
quite.
you want to go
smooth
back and
move.
resolve that? Probably because I guess I did it wrong.
That's cool. Oh, we can do it in this round because you're up straight away. So
Okay.
you want to do that now?
So I think actually her entire kind of moment is she's just gonna hold that stare, and as Sir Alfred comes in, glance towards him, and then back down, and take a breath, and just not say anything. She's just gonna stay silent and in that considering and hold the tension.
Cool.
And then she'll try and read his disposition, see if he's being honest, because she has no idea.
Sure. Go ahead and roll that awareness empathy check for me.
Awareness. All right, so this is just gonna be straight awareness for me. 10.
Okay. I'm going to give you it because I think with Alfred as well, you taking that moment, it's a good moment to really get where he's coming from. His disposition is dislike. So it's not malicious necessarily, is what you might expect. Like he's your captive as such. He was at least fairly well-meaning in terms of his apology, him trying to convince you that actually it's not just a random band of bandits or anything like that. But his last technique was deception. He wasn't going to be following through with
Bringing men to the house.
Yeah, and that whole bargaining for his life thing. He wasn't really going to properly follow through with what he was saying about being loyal and true to you as well and stuff. But we'll try again. I'm just going to roll, just speed things up a little bit.
He just kind of doubles down.
He does, yeah. Just pleads the case again. 10.
That is exactly my intrigue defense.
Ooh, all right. 1 degree of success. Well, actually, no. It would. Let's think. Yeah. Okay. So he is. Yeah. That's great. So 1 degree of success means 3 influence, but remember your DR will absorb any of that.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
All of it.
Yeah. Fair play. All right. Back up to you and Alfred, if you want to get any more info out of him.
So Alfred at the moment is going to look to Lady Marcia for any cues that she wants him to do. So he's taking a back burner at the moment and taking her lead.
Do you have any indications for Sir Alfred at all?
I think Marcia is actually going to stand, implying that she's preparing to just leave the room.
Cool. All right. Your Shadowcat stands with you as well. Starts to paw pad towards the captive. Just sniffing.
She'll click her tongue to kind of show that she has complete control over this Shadowcat, to kind of keep maintaining the intimidation. This isn't just a pet. This is something she controls.
Sure. What does she want it to do?
She
come to you, sit down.
Yeah, come to her and kind of sit down.
Cool. Yeah, she does so. So she pads towards you, just very calmly, kind of head slightly lower, and then turns to look at him, but then sits just by you.
And Marcia reaches down a hand. It's the hand with her wedding ring on. She just kind of strokes the cat's head. Also, it's a good excuse to not have to step off the dais, which she's kind of scared about doing. So she's just going to stand there. So being on the dais, I imagine she's kind of raised up and she's got this cat next to her. And so she's maintaining the intimidate, but the communication is, I'm going to leave right now because you're wasting my time.
Cool. Was your intention to leave, to quit the intrigue? You can get him sent away back to
She
cells or
is
something.
bluffing that she's about to leave.
Okay.
She's giving him one last chance. Give me something interesting and useful or I'm done with you.
All right. Okay. Roll me deception. Yeah, just with a bluff, basically.
Can I add something to that?
Yeah.
As she stands up and gets about to leave, Alfred's going to draw an arrow.
Mm-hmm. Do you just notch it, or do you fully draw?
I notch it.
Okay.
No, I basically it's just resting on my bow.
Yeah, cool. All right. So remember to add the +2 for your Shadowcat and the +1 for Alfred.
So 8 plus 2 for the cat goes up to 10, plus 1 for Alfred, plus my modifier is deception modifier is a +2 as well. So it's +5 in total, makes that a 13.
Cool. That is 1 degree of success. So your this was more kind of intimidation, wasn't it, as well?
Yeah.
So will rank again was 3, I believe.
4.
4?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Cool.
I'm a willful woman, Sam.
You are. He still hates you just enough to not get through. Alrighty. He does offer you this. Oh, my lady. I am under the command of a new king of the Red Mountains who is staking his claim on this region. We call ourselves the Talons, under the Vulture King. He's taking roost in Vulture's Roost. It's an old ruined castle by the Will River. If you let me live, I can show you, can help you warn your allies.
She, for the briefest moment, looks genuinely intrigued. Can I do a kind of knowledge test to see if she recognizes Vulture's definitely pinging alarm bells?
Sure.
But know about Vulture's Roost and like stuff in the Red Mountains. This isn't actually her home territory. She's only been here for 4-ish years.
Yep, sure.
So just a knowledge check.
It is. This will be education as well. I need bonus dice of that.
Could I possibly do a survival or knowledge check of the area, that whether or not I know the area that well?
Sure. I would let you make a cunning check with any specialty dice you've got from orienteering or orientation.
Don't know.
Which you have from now.
Nope. Oops, sorry, I did that twice. The
right.
first one was 8.
Cool. Marcia with 5. It doesn't ring.
I use my lucky and do my one reroll test. I get to keep the better of the two. Good job, Marcia.
Good job, Lucky.
Super lucky.
Yeah.
It's my lucky day.
Nothing springs to mind from what you know of the area. Vulture's Roost, Vulture's Rest, something along those lines. It does ring a bell for what he's talking about, but you don't have any specifics to hand. So Alfred, the Will River is fairly near the Boneway, so it's on the other side, the eastern side of the Red Mountains. So they've come quite a way. So either they have travelled really far and they're just raiding and stuff, or maybe it pertains to some kind of larger force, or the fact that they are just like, there's quite a lot of them in little pockets around the Red Mountains, essentially.
I imagine every time Marcia's mind searches on this vulture thing, she's getting flashes of that nightmare. Just first the vultures in the tree, and then the vultures in her hall. And I think as she draws a complete blank, her face just hardens because she can't escape this vulture's imagery. Whose turn is it, Sam?
I've lost count. I think it's yours.
Yeah, I think it's ours. I think we just did that as a response.
Okay, so she turns to Alfred and says, "No, we hang him."
He nods and puts the arrow back and on the shoulder.
His crime is against our people. Our people will see.
Then Sir Alfred will look at the guards at the end. He'll nod, and they'll come.
Cool. They will come and take him away. As you do, he is not resisting them too much, but as he leaves, he is still begging, and he's trying to just repeat the same kind of stuff about showing you this place.
Marcia will kind of turn to Alfred as he's finally hitting those doors and kind of dragged beyond the threshold and says, "No one must talk to him. He speaks of rebellion. It's a dangerous time for rebellion."
Alfred will nod, and he'll go down the main to follow to ensure that no one sees him. He'll stop for a minute and start hacking again halfway through the hall, clearing his chest, and then he'll kind of straighten himself up, stop, and then carry on.
"Alfred, when you have overseen this, return to the ward. You're still unwell."
He'll nod, turn around, and head out. Because it hurts to talk.
And Marcia will just sit down in the throne, and just her head is starting to pound a tiny bit with everything that just happened.
We are going to get over now to Old Oak. Thank you very much, guys. There we are. That's seamless. Mara. The next day, you sit at a breakfast table made of oak in the solar of Lord John, your father-in-law. Bacon, sausage, apple cakes, and fried eggs are all served up by the servants, as Alistair helps himself to 2 portions of the blood sausage at the table, while his mother smiles. they all take parts of this breakfast. His mum's taken a bit less, and she's eating like a lady, eating like she's got a secret. But his father's got a good appetite, and Alistair is tucking in heartily to his breakfast. Anything you dodge? Anything you?
No, Mara probably has to do the thing where she kind of forgets there's a pretense she has to put up for a moment and nearly goes to help herself to a bit too much on one plate, but will pace herself. But she'll kind of she will delicately eat like a lady, but she will also end up having like 2 portions of everything.
Sure, yeah, it's like during the course of the breakfast.
Yeah.
So there is a little bit of discussion around leaving for Highguard, and Lord John, your father-in-law, says, well, I will be leaving this evening. Now, to get you more acquainted, to get you more accustomed with court, it would be an excellent idea if you were to join me. Now, it would be improper of you to be away from your lady wife this early in your matrimony. And so, my lady, I would invite you to Highgarden with us, to travel with us this evening.
My lord, that's an incredibly gracious invitation. Thank you. I would absolutely love to come to Highgarden. However, I'm expecting a visitor. Perhaps it would be possible for us to ride on afterwards and meet you there. But I've had word from my brother that he is coming for a visit in light of my father's recent passing, and I would hate to miss him.
It's at that second that Alistair actually stops eating, kind of puts his knife and fork down for a moment and just waits, kind of giving you the table, as it were, to speak, and a little bit of quiet. Lady Jane chokes a little bit on her bacon when she hears about this. Lord John looks over and says, I'm not going to take no for an answer. It would be very beneficial for you to see court, I think, in Highgarden. I don't know whether you ever visited when you were at Fox Hollow.
Not that I can recall.
It's an incredible castle, incredible grounds. You'll love it.
Like I said, my lord, I would absolutely love to come, and perhaps you could allow me a day or two to follow behind, but I haven't seen my brother in over 10 years, and the recent passing of our father, there are so few of us left. I don't know when I would get the chance to see him again.
And it's at this moment that a servant enters, young man. He recognises one of the judges, not the judge, but the marshals at the tournament, actually. And he says, my lord, there is a young man here to see Lady Mara. And dab. And Lord John says, well, perhaps we won't have to wait after all then, as he says to you.
Mara will smile at him and say, perhaps not. That would be even better news.
And Lord John says, bring him in. And Symon, you are ushered into Old Oak's Great Hall with its huge oaken beams around the ceiling. Its great thick doors closing loudly behind you. The light of the morning shines in through windows on both sides. This isn't the Great Hall, we're in the Solar. That's really done with me. It's kind of like a mix between a lounge and an office. So still oaken beams everywhere. Or there's kind of like barn conversions you can kind of get and stuff. So really ancient timber framing this breakfast, this private breakfast. The Solar itself is very light in terms of windows, bringing in the morning sunlight on the eastern side. And the smell of rich, fatty foods, eggs and bacon, rumbles your stomach.
Ignore that rumble, just sort of straighten out my robes and cloak and dust off my trousers and just step forward.
Mara immediately gets up out of her seat and she turns to look at you, and she's in shock for a moment of just looking at you, and just runs at you, puts her arms around your neck and just hugs you close. And she'll whisper in in your ear, "Don't mention your chains."
He's not responding. He just wraps his arms. They're almost limp around you, but that's only because you sort of feel the welling of the tears against his eyes. Tries to keep a stiff upper lip and just slides his hands onto your shoulders.
She'll have her hands at your face, almost the way that our mother used to as kids, and just be like, you're here. I'm so sorry. I'm being so incredibly rude. And she'll turn back to the table and says, Alistair, Lord and Lady Oakhart, this is my brother, Symon. Symon, this is my husband, Alistair, and this is the Lord and Lady Oakhart.
Alistair gets up out of his seat, and he's a very tall man. Comes over to shake your hand.
Seems my sister has married a right man. And I clasp it with both hands and shake it vigorously.
Sure. He's got a firm handshake, and he shakes back. Just after this, Lord and Lady Oakhart have gotten out of their seats.
At which point he'll bow and say, "Of most noble and rich stock.
Our roots grow strong. Our roots go deep, even. What am I saying? That's not strong. that's Tyrell's, right? Yeah, our roots grow deep. And Lady Oakhart invites you to join them for breakfast.
I'm tall, apparently. I pat Alistair's shoulder since he's a good 4 inches above me. Just sort of pat his shoulder and join to the side of the Lady Oakhart.
Mm. Yeah, Symon pulls up a chair and gives you a plate.
Actually, at that, I would hold my hand out to the Lady Oakhart.
Mm-hmm.
And if she accepts, I would gracefully hold it to my forehead and give it a kiss.
Sure. She's a little bit taken aback by that.
He'll just give sort of a cursory nod to the Lord.
Mm-hmm. He nods back.
Mara instantly turns into her mother and kind of ushers Symon into a seat and starts telling him what's on the breakfast table, and just for that moment, just is an image of her mother just being like, "You should try this, and this is really lovely." And she's a little bit excited, and she's also trying to keep down the need to cry, but also trying to keep up that pretense of I'm still trying to be a lady, because I know the Lord and Lady of this house don't like me very much.
He's gonna at some point clasp his hand over yours as it's on his shoulder and simply nod. And I'm most happy to see you again as well. Would that I could join you in this wonderful occasion, but I leave that to the Lord and Lady to determine my... He kind of pauses. My worthiness to do so.
They look perplexed, and the Lord says, "Please sit, eat."
Symon, stop being ridiculous. Sit down and have breakfast.
Tis a speciality of mine. And he'll go ahead and grab nothing too He'd probably eat closer to the way that the ladies have sort of established themselves, very genteel manner and reasonable.
Mara looks like she's being genteel for all about 5 minutes until she's got like 3 sausages on her plate and a bunch of other stuff. And I also imagine at some point just puts food on your plate, watches you eye something up, and just puts it on your plate for you.
So there's obviously polite conversation here. Are you guys wanting to speak here, or are you wanting to take a private moment to actually speak properly?
I imagine we want a private moment. So I think I don't know, I imagine Mara would want to kind of have breakfast and kind of finish up and then politely ask to be excused.
Yeah, sure.
At breakfast, Symon would actually sort of pry, given the information that he's collected during his travel, and cutting into some sausage, places it gently in his teeth and kind of grinds it. I hope the tournament went well.
It did. It was wonderful. There were so many people. I don't think I've ever seen that many people in one place in my life. Some of the gifts, and she'll look at Alistair while he's probably like chewing down on some food and be like, we had some wonderfully splendid gifts. The Princess Daenerys was there.
Really?
Yes. There was the only bit of sad news is Sir Oliver sustained some injuries during a joust. He's being seen to by the Maester. They say he'll live, but he may have trouble walking.
Lady Oakhart eats her food quietly, eyes down to her plate.
Gods wish him a speedy recovery. Would have imagined in his age he would have recused himself from the lists.
I think he had his reasons. But
Alistair says, I think we all saw his reasons. And his mother glares at him.
Well, that's not table conversation, I don't think, my love. But
Symon is sort of perplexed by this. Why not?
His brother. But he did win. He managed to, even in his state, I don't know how, but he managed to climb the steps to our balcony and crown me Queen of Love and Beauty. Bless the old man.
Alistair takes your hand at the table.
Good to know his eyesight is still well.
As breakfast finishes up, Alistair kisses you on the cheek and says, I'll go prepare the horses.
At that point, I'd actually like to get the attention of the Lord Greenmont and sort of approach him and properly extend my hand to him.
Sure. So Lord John stands.
My lord, it is wonderful to make your acquaintance and be in your audience, and I must send my condolences for the Sir Gawain of your house.
Well, I wouldn't have put it that strongly. We wanted him to do well, but...
More well than he perhaps performed. Would that I were there. Certainly would have gotten a fairer ruling.
Perhaps.
He smiles. He turns again to the Lady Greenmont and sort of places his hand before his heart and gives a very genteel bow.
Lord Oakhart extends his hands, palms out, and says, well, and kind of ushers you out, if you please. I have a lot of papers to prepare and things to get ready for the ride tonight.
Of course, my lord. A ride? Where do you ride? Good sir.
Well, court is going to be starting soon in Highgarden, and myself, my son, and his lady wife are going to be joining them.
A marvelous occasion, of which I am sure they will learn a great deal.
I hope so.
Mara will link arms with you.
And he'll accept it. He was about to do the same. So it's like, okay.
Come, brother, we have a lot to discuss.
Oh, mountains and mountains of... Well, he kind of pauses and just gives another nod to the lady and the lord.
Mara does the same out of respect, and I guess we leave the room.
Yep.
Godswood?
Everything's cleared away. And
Godswood.
you guys...
Godswood.
It's always the Godswood.
It's always the Godswood.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're in
Simon's
this-
religion, so I mean... Yeah.
You're in this lovely herb garden with a weirwood tree. The weirwood tree looks at you in surprise at you being here. Its mouth open, its eyes red with blood. And there's the sap, blood red sap that comes out of it.
A quick question. Are there any weirwood trees in Old Town?
Yeah, probably. I mean, probably actually not in the tower, the actual high tower, like keep, because it's this kind of colossal, like, lighthouse type affair.
Yeah.
If a castle was a lighthouse. But there's probably a couple of godswoods dotted around in Old Town. There are even some shrines and some different religious icons, and even a couple of churches around that are of, like, not of the Seven and not of the old gods in Old Town.
I think, Mara, you would see... he hasn't been to a weirwood in a while, so as soon as he sees the face, he's almost as shocked himself. So he just kind of stares at it for a moment.
Symon? She'll kind of pat you on the shoulder.
Sincerest apologies.
It's okay. I'm so glad that you came. I'm sure there is a lot to explain. You cast off your chains. And we can talk about that later. What's important is that I have to go to court at Highgarden now, and would you come?
Did you even ask? You do me great offense, Lady Greenmont.
Mara, I'm your sister, Symon. The most important thing is we have a chance at getting Myria back. I didn't want to put it in a letter. I didn't know. Well, I didn't receive this until yesterday, but I spoke to the Princess Daenerys, and I'm not sure she entirely likes me or trusts me. But I think she understands the situation of me wanting my sister back in light of recent events, and seems like she might help our cause. I've spoken to Alistair about trying to get her the promise of marriage within the Oak Hearts, at least to bring her here.
He looks as though he doesn't understand the attachment, but as you kind of intone, he stops. Of course, this would be of grave importance. She is a Greenmont, after all. But what of our name? Our true name?
We have no name unless we are together. Father taught us that. Family before anything. The closer we are, the stronger we are. The closer we are, and the more that we can get the court on side, the sooner we can deal with the business of you having your chains cast off. I still need to send a letter to Marzia to tell her. I still don't know what's happening back at Fox Hollow. I haven't had word since Father's body was taken back.
So he's buried there?
He is.
You see Symon pause. And without much in the way of words, he just starts crying.
Mara does too. As soon as you start crying, she starts crying and just hugs you. and is just like, I can't believe he's gone. He didn't even make it back. He didn't even make it to the wedding, Symon. And that's it. She's just a mess, like properly a mess, can barely hold herself up. This is all of that grief she's been holding in for what is, I imagine, around like, 3 or 4 days to a week, just floods open.
I thought I'd see him buried. Thought the old gods would have been kind enough for that.
The old gods were kind enough to bring you to me. We bring Myria home, and we bring our house back to what it was for our father and his legacy.
He stops at that and looks to you very gravely. And for our future.
And even through tears, she looks at him intently and just nods before just hugging you again and just holding on, just crying.
He's going to angle it to where he just stares the weirwood tree's face, like head on. And you feel his grip grow tighter, and there's a smidgen of resentment that's washed away soon enough by the tears and the embrace.
And we head over to Summerhall. Hi, Susie.
Hello.
Hi. So I break the tension now. It is time for dinner with Uncle. You've been waiting on this invitation for a little while. And there are cats. No. As you enter the room, your uncle greets you kindly. But there is a few other Dornishmen as well. Knights that you can tell from surcoats and tabards and such. Couple with this guy with a doublet as well. There's Harlan Uller here, is introduced by your uncle. Has dark Dornish desert skin and a tabard of red fire on a gold field. Gerald Sand is here as well, is introduced. Sand is a bastard name of the Dawns, and he has odd blue hair dyed in the Tyroshi fashion, but no goatee. And then you're also introduced to Wyndon Will, who's an old Dornish knight with leathery skin and one eye sewn shut. And his colours are yellow. He's wearing a yellow surcoat. Oh no, sorry. He's wearing a yellow doublet with a black snake stitched all around one side. Really quite fashionably looking guy.
That's rad.
Yeah, man. Everyone sits. They're already holding goblets of wine, and your uncle offers you a goblet of wine. And if you take it,
Yeah, she's not rude. She'll take it.
cool. And a servant pours you a full glass of Dornish red. Served at the table, thick, crispy steaks of snake, still sizzling, spitting and hissing in hot ceramics dishes, are brought to the table. Pungent smell of sauces bring tears to your eyes. Now, the best snake sauce has a drop of venom in it. So goes the rumour, along with mustard seeds and fiery dragon peppers. Accompanying that is a delicacy of salad of green beans, onions and beets, river pike as well as a fish course in almond milk with mounds of mashed turnips. Thanks, George.
I'm so hungry now.
This rich Dornish red, slightly sour to the taste, just brings everything out beautifully. The knights toast to their victory, and to their imprisonment of what Harlan Uller calls this Stormlands bitch. And they drink, and they laugh, and they boast. Harlan is gunning for a promotion to the Kingsguard. Says he fought valiantly enough, and they have unspun this conspiracy and taken a knife to it. So he hopes that the death of this traitor, this spy, is swift, and that his name will be said around the court of King's Landing. Wyndon Will knows a bit better and says that he'll be forgotten, and that all we'll remember him for is the death of his squire, because he didn't look after him properly. And there is at last the squire as well, a young Dornish lad from the mountains. More wine is poured, and more toasts are made. More and more wine, it seems. Is there a point at which this becomes too much and that you stop?
Yeah, I think Myria is definitely pacing herself, especially if it's semi-sour to the taste, because she's kind of into like sweet stuff.
Mhm.
So she would be very, for maybe like every couple of glasses the men drink, she would be like way behind them. You know,
Sure.
be very dainty sips. She'd try and make one glass last as long as possible.
All right. So the guys have had about 5 or 6 glasses so far. How many do you think you will have had?
I think Myria would be working on her second.
Wow. All right. The lads catch up on this a little bit, and they do coax you to drink another. So I am going to make a little... So alcohol's a poison, so I'm going to make a little poison roll.
Oh.
You've been sensible, though, so this is like 1 dice. So your passive endurance is 8, so it's like there's 2, right?
Yes.
All right, so there is a chance of drunkenness. I'll roll 2d6. So as a young woman, I think you haven't quite got any kind of tolerance yet for this wine.
Oh no, absolutely no.
So
she's probably a little bit squiffy after like 1 glass.
yeah. Squiffy's one thing, but an actual
yeah.
drunkenness is another. So this is if it's an 8 or more. No, all right. You've paced yourself well enough here. You've done all right. Because success would have imposed -1 dice on any tests, so that's pretty harsh. All right. There's more boasting about the hammer and the anvil, in which these Dornishmen were Maekar's hammer, I believe. Came in from the south, riding hard, and drove into the rear lines of the Blackfyre army, swang round and repeated the same maneuver as Baelor Breakspear. I think this might be the other way around. One of them, anyway. There was a line of men holding ground as this hammer on the anvil just kept repeating wave after wave of charge. And their descriptions go into a little bit of gory detail that you will never have experienced in this kind of education or the songs that have been written about the hammer and the anvil. And they're talking about it with strange kind of jovialness, of just kind of boastful men. And
I feel like this definitely is making Myria uncomfortable, especially as she knows that she probably actually learned that her brother was involved in the hammer and anvil. He was in between the hammer and the anvil, and Sir Oliver, broke off to rescue him. And I feel like what she would do is, like, she would obviously not engage with this chat, but she would turn to the blue-haired man and she said, "Excuse me, sir, your hair is it's quite unusual. I've never seen anything quite like it before."
do you like it?
It's very bright.
Exotic.
Sure.
Do you say sure?
I
A
feel
bit
like-
sure. Yeah. Sure.
Sure. But she's like,
He's got like a flamboyance, flamboyantness to him. Like, but for a worldly person, it's like a strange impersonation. And he's quite drunk as well, so it's just kind of a little bit all over the place. Eventually, after a dessert course, what's the dessert course? Come on, George. I don't know. Okay.
I don't know, like, what do people? Yes, Jason.
Well, you had had lemon cakes earlier, right?
Mhm.
And I don't think they would capitulate to anything like sweet. So some sort of either spiced pudding or like
What
weird.
about like a chai tiramisu type thing?
Ah.
Ooh, all right.
All right.
Yeah, go ahead.
Chai tiramisu. Slight.
You've got more
spice to it.
alcohol in there too, and you got the spices and the cream just to cut through all of that spice from the food before, settle the stomach, get you more drunk.
Should we roll again?
Yeah, go on then.
Oh,
She's getting there.
she is, but you're all right.
Mhm.
Okay, after dessert, the men depart, and you are left with your uncle. And he closes the doors behind his friends. Pours himself another glass of wine, and says, "Your mother was an incredible woman. Loving, kind. Everything a young man could want from a younger sister. When I became betrothed to Carcella, I hated my mother for it. I was already in love. But your mother helped me. She helped me understand. Marriages are not meant for love. And if you find it along the way, then it is only a blessing. Your mother was a blessing. From the mother herself.
I wish I could have known her.
I was so sad when she died. I'm going to start an intrigue.
Ooh, let's go.
So, if you want to roll a status breeding test. for
Okay.
me.
Okay, bam. 12.
Ooh, not bad. What's this one I got? Well, it's pretty good compared to his, because that is good actually, because he's got quite a bit higher than you in terms of the actual status. So going first, I'm going to do a shield reputation. So that whole thing was about, you remember that you're one of me and I'm one of you kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's that shield reputation thing. So this is actually going to be the same check. So this shield reputation is against your passive will,
Okay.
I think. Oh.
Oh, yeah, no, yeah.
Oh, mate. All right. Shield reputation versus passive will. So I want you to pick your disposition for me.
Okay. Yep, got it.
And I'm going to get you to raise it by a step. Right now.
Okay.
That was the success for that. And it's over to you.
Okay. I'm gonna go for a charm.
Okay.
We're gonna be charming, and I'm going to read him.
Okay.
So Myria, she would just, she'd look at him and say, "Please, I never knew my mother. What other stories do you have of her?" And then she's gonna sit back and watch his face.
Yeah, cool. And there's a little bit of story time. and you're gleaning this kind of information from him.
Mhm.
So if you can make me then an awareness empathy check,
Awareness.
while my cats just hiss each other and decide to...
Oh, come.
Right.
10.
10. Passive deception. Yeah, you get it.
What?
Yeah, you get it.
Oh.
So +1 dice for your old tests, persuasion and deception tests for the rest of the intrigue. His disposition is it called friendly or amiable? It is DR2, friendly.
Ooh.
And yeah, shared reputation was his last action, so you know the technique.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. All right. So you grab those keep dice for yourselves, and I'll go on to my other thing. He finishes his glass of wine, and he looks at you with a seriousness that he hasn't had during like story time and during the actual meal. And he has concern on his face. He says, "I can save you from this mess. I can protect you from the horrors that this war has brought us. Traitors, spies, gossip, wardship. I can help you. Would you let me help you?" I'm gonna roll a convince.
Ooh.
Oh. 8.
Nope.
Right. Cool. Over to you.
Okay. mm. Okay, we're gonna go with Charm again. She's laying on the I'm the cute little niece Charm.
All right.
And we're gonna just go with some straight influence. And
Cool.
she will say, but what about my family, my brother, my sister, my stepmother? I wouldn't leave them behind. I can't leave them behind. My house's words are forget me not, and I can't forget them.
All right. Roll for me. I'll give you a bonus dice for that. It's quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Roll them dice.
I forgot. Oh, charm is what I used.
Mm-hmm.
The persuasion, charm, and an extra bonus dice. Let's go. 13. Oh, come on.
That's 1 degree of success. Or add your persuasion modifier to the.
Oh, okay. That's an 18 then.
Nice. All right. Oh no, you're right. Cool. All right. So that's 2 degrees of success. What's your persuasion rank?
3.
Cool. All right. So it's 6 composure damage. 4 for the DR. All right. He thinks on that. He says, "Yes, of course. It's tragic. Tragedy has befallen our neighbours." And he pours himself another glass of red wine. "I'm going to consider and keep myself 2 bonus dice."
Ooh.
Over to you.
Going same again, charm, straight up influence. And she'll say, "I'm so very grateful for the help, for the offer of protection. And please do not take my hesitance for ungratefulness. It's you just have to understand I'm alone here and I have to be careful about what I do and who I trust."
All right. Roll for me.
Bam. Oh fuck, Myria, come on.
Plus your modifier.
Oh, 17.
2 degrees of success. So another. Oh, he's close. He's faltering. But he does say, "You are not alone. Yes, with your father sadly departed from this world. You know, you are the last Greenmont child with a claim. Some people could take advantage of that. I can marry you to my youngest son, Rhaema. He is not betrothed yet. We can protect you from this pit of vipers that they are throwing traitors into. You are Alice's sister, a daughter. Your mother's daughter. You are not a traitor." Someone gonna give me any fucking bonus dice, please?
Oh, I have all of them. Fuck.
You may have 1 bonus dice, Susanna.
Thank you.
No, but that was so good.
Went
Was
to
good.
went to the video referee there. 1 bonus dice. Oh, come on. Oh, that's all right. I had 3. Actually, so then I've increased that to 6 because I had the bonus dice before. 12.
Yep.
How many degrees?
1.
3 influence.
Hang on. Damn it.
It wasn't much to that convince.
Oh no, I've lost my sheet in the panic.
Oh wait, I forgot to have my modifier.
Modifier.
Always modifier, man.
Oh, modifier.
It's plus 3. 15.
Still 1.
Oh, come on.
It's 11.
Yeah, fair. That is good. All right, yeah, 3 influence. So take 1 off of that. 2 influence. To your composure. Over to you.
Okay. Oh fuck. I can see Tom there being like, "Oh, fucking cameras." Oh fuck. Okay, back again with the charm because it's like the only thing I can really think of right here.
Okay.
Just gonna try and straight up influence, just try and put this to bed. And she will say, she will take a moment, take a beat, and look down at her hands and look back up at him and say, "That's an incredibly kind offer. It is something I must consider, and I must write home to my stepmother about it. Thank you."
He looks fairly sad, kind of desperate, I think, at this point. Make me that roll. Add a bonus dice, I liked it.
Okay, and another dice. Okay,
Just roll a d6, see if we get anything better.
Okay, 1 sec. Oh, for fuck's sake, so that's an 18.
Yes, that still would have been the same, though. It's 2 degrees, so that's it. You've won.
Oh,
Good job. So his disposition will improve by 1 step to you. So it will be affectionate, so the very top. And basically he will allow you time to consider what's going on. He leads you out, says goodnight in the corridor as you head back down through to your your quarters, to your door. So you open the door there, you find what's her chops? The little one.
the little one?
Joy. Yeah.
Joy.
Thank you, Charlie. You find Joy sat at the end of her bed, knees up, hugging them, and she's looking across from her at Lyra, who is sat slumped at the end of her bed, but sat there.
She'd put her hand on Joy as she walked past, but rushed straight to Lyra. Lyra? Are you all right?
And she's not very lucid. She can't quite focus on you. She's swaying a little bit. Her head is quite heavy. Her neck's not supporting her so much. As you look at her face, She's got a bruise around one of her cheekbones.
I reach up and look at it. What happened to you, Lyra?
No, I'm not a spy. And these kind of are the only real words that you get out of her.
I will lay her down very gently into her bed and just sort of like try and make her as comfortable as I can. And then dash to try and find Septa Ingrid.
You head down the hall and are startled. You almost jump out of your skin by a loud bell that begins ringing in a tower above you. Guards begin to yell. One of them runs past the corridor, past you down the corridor. It's dark now. The sconces have some candlelight to them, but the moonlit night is coming in through some of the larger windows next to you along this corridor. And then a second bell starts ringing out. And then more guards shouting and more running. And you can hear in the distance cries of escape. And the bells continue to ring out as we make our way back over to Fox Hollow.
I was only minorly celebrating. There was no fist pump.
We saw nothing. Charlie, we're going to finish off with this because you wanted to bring the men together from Fox Hollow, right? How did you want to set that up?
She speaks with Lana and finds out the proper kind of procedure for gathering the men of the Greenmont lands. And she'll coordinate with Babblebrook and ensure that obviously he is healing. And within a week, she'll have prepared a kind of spring feast for Fox Hollow Hall, dipping in to a little of the funds we have, gathering kind of what little crops there are in spring, the first kind of mini harvest, I suppose.
More like a domestic harvest of people in their own kind of backyards and stuff, not larger.
Have a few chickens and things. And she'll have the hall kind of fairly simply decorated, not too bright and garish, because this is both a celebration and a bad news deliverance, as she seeks to address the men on the matters of her house. She'll have sent out notes to obviously the devoted couriers and their families, to the higher up miners, the higher up farmers, basically kind of any man of note. And also she would have extended an invitation to the Tarleys. Okay. Although it may be too short notice, really, for them to respond. It's kind of just a polite offering.
Yeah. They don't come, but there is a note from the Maester saying that they are attending a tourney at Old Oak.
And so with them all gathered, Marcia actually isn't in her position on the throne, where she's been a number of times in, I guess, the week or so this has taken to arrange, as she's dealt with small matters. Outside, we would have had the hanging. I'm assuming that went without a hitch. Well, one hitch.
Yeah. One hitch.
One hitch. And I think the body would have been left there, a strange offering for the vultures, almost in Marcia's mind, and also just a sign that, we won't tolerate incursions. So with the men assembled and the feast prepared, Marcia standing beside the dais, she turns to them all and gives a nod to, I'm going to say she's coordinated this with Lana, for Lana to call for them to bring attention.
Yeah, absolutely. The devoted have actually formed up in ranks in the hall. there's just enough room for them to do that. And the couriers are a little bit less organized, but still in a larger group.
Gentlemen, Greenmont, I've gathered you today to share news of our home. Grave news. Lord Lucas, in his journey north, unfortunately succumbed and now rests with the rest of those devoted to this house. And she'll pause, glance to Lana and Babblebrook, feeling this kind of almost sucker punch. She's not really paused to think about this, and now it's kind of coming out of her mouth and it's becoming more real, looking around the room to all of these faces. I hope that you might remember the oaths you made, as I now remember mine, my vow to this house, my vow to be Lady Greenmont in both fair and harder times. Remember the words, remember the pains, the names carved into the wall, and the blood. A blood oath that I share too. It will be a few months, but this family continues to grow. So, forget me not. Forget yourselves not. Lady Lana, my sister, Sir Babblebrook, leader of men. Sir Oliver will soon return from up north and hopefully bring joyous news of the celebration of our daughter Mara's wedding to the House Oakhart. We hope too to hear good word of our son at the Citadel, noble and learned Maester. And I make too to you the promise that I made to my husband, that Lady Myria shall be looked after, shall be returned to us here, to her family. So please, take your place at my table and enjoy the spring feast with me. Together, House Greenmont. And she's gonna, with every careful bone in her body, step up. And she's gonna actually take a knife that she's had in her hand, and she's gonna carve into the back of the throne Lucas's name, in symbolic gesture, like we would carve the name of the devoted into the wall of the armory, but the Lord's name here into the throne, so that she can lead with him behind her and supporting her. And then she'll turn and hope to see people sitting down. She's kind of scared as she turns, because this is almost a make or break moment if they won't stand by her.
All right. I'd like you to make me a status test, please. Let me check out the status specialties just one more time.
I have 2 ranks in dedication, if that can maybe help with the persuasiveness of her.
I will let you add those specialty dice to this status test. Yeah.
So my status is 4. I'm adding 2 dice for my dedication.
Cool. Roll 6, keep 4.
23.
Boom.
I rolled 3 sixes and a 5.
6 and a 5. I mean, people cheer your name at the end of this and begin tucking into feast as you finish carving Lucas's name into the back of the Fox Hollow chair. You sit and are served there. Lana whispers it in your ear. Well done. And Sir Babblebrook is still a little weighted down on one side, but he gives you a look of pride and happiness as the whole atmosphere inside the hall is of, yeah, sad news, but they feel as if you're gonna lead them through this. It's the devoted, the couriers, workers, miners, the artisan, the blacksmith tucks in to this, as you say, spring feast. And that's where we'll finish up for tonight.
Can I add one tiny postscript?
You can.
Marcia will actually approach our lady blacksmith and present to her the dagger and say, "May we forge strong weapons. May we not heed any further incursion. Strong as a mountain, sharp as steel." And she'll have presented almost a mirror to the marriage ceremony, but she's bonding with the artisans of this land, with the workers, as much as she is with a military presence.
All right.
Plus, respect the strong women of this house.
Yeah.
We're not too messed with right now.
It's a female blacksmith from the north.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Cool. Thank you very much. All right. So let's have a quick whip round, see how everyone is doing. That was a wicked roll, Charlie.
I know.
I think you've got the household on side.
That roll I've been really nervous about all week because I knew I was probably going to have to make it, and I wasn't sure what I was going to end up using. There's only one roll that I'm more scared of, but I don't have to make it yet.
Yeah, that's true. D2. Boy or a girl. Cool.
Boy or a girl.
Nice though. Any last little bits you wanted to say, or any quick plugs you wanted to make?
While we are with me, I would just like to plug on Sunday again. We have Sky Chasers coming up in that 4 p.m. Eastern slot over on Tales from the Grim. It's a wonderful cast and crew, many of them here. Shout out also to Edelyn and Greg, who aren't here, but I think Greg was in chat earlier. Yeah, I'm super excited about that. And also make sure you are follow Black Cats Gaming, and you are going to check out the Spy Game playtester because it's going to be so good. And the Kickstarter, that's what I meant to say, not playtester, Kickstarter.
Thank you very much.
Oh,
cool. And Tom, how was that for you? You managed to get the guy back. You've got the plague. It's all fine.
Plague. It's all good. I mean, Sir Alfred probably enjoyed hearing the feast as he is in his tiny little room eating gruel as everyone is tucking into some really nice things because that's all he can actually eat at the moment. So that's fine. That's fine. You know, he has to be quarantined for a bit, but that's fine. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. It's just a shame it's only 3 hours because I could just keep going on and on.
Yeah, I know, right?
If only. But yeah, it was fantastic. I love the intrigue and everything. I really enjoyed the intrigue with Susie and Uncle Blackmont. It was such a really nice. It was one of those intrigues that was just. It was friendly and it was friendly and family-like, but you knew he wanted something.
Yeah,
you know, and it was just a nice way of seeing it instead of hostilities, rather just a friendly exchange of words. So it was a really cool way of showing that. But yes, I'm Redundant UK. The only other show that I'm on is Wednesdays on Encounter Roleplay for Cult Divinity Lost, which is a lot of fun. I think it's about 7 p.m. GMT, 2 p.m. Eastern, something like that. But yeah, that's it. That's for me. I can't wait for next week.
Cool. Thanks, man. I gotta work out what I could do. No idea. Literally no idea. Cool. Well, Jason better get back in his seat because we're going over to him and to V. V, why don't we have a chat to you while it fades over? Hello. You're muted again.
best. Every time. Hi. Yeah, that was awesome.
Good. You guys finally reunited.
Yes, finally. It was so wholesome, but also like watching Myria's intrigue. Mara will cut the person who tries to steal her sister away from this family. Me and Jason in the Zoom chat private, like, so we're going to kill this guy, right? This guy's got to die now. But hi, yeah, I'm Virginia. You can find me over on Twitter at Tabletop Horde. I game with most of the people here. So I'm here on Thursdays for this stream. And then I'm also around on Sundays for Charlie's Sky Chaser stream, which is fun. I'm playing an ex-CIA current FBI agent who's having to also deal with deputies who don't know how policing works. So that's fun. And Sam's on that as well, and so is Susie, and it's awesome. And then I'm also on the Spy Game playtest with Sam on Sundays, where I play a disaster spy that's really trying not to be. We're trying so hard, Sam.
So true.
But yeah, this has been cool having like everyone here, and it's kind of nice to be able to watch everything going on, knowing that you're not pulling weird faces on camera as well. That's quite cool. But yeah, so many plots. And I have to go to Highgarden. I have to go and see the Tyrells, and we don't like those guys.
Yeah, but Court's cool.
Court's also dangerous and scary, and also Tyrells.
Yeah, true. Suppose.
Suspicious.
Alrighty. And Jason, you were back with us this week. How was that?
Oh man, I missed this game. Should be on more often, huh?
Yes, please.
Yeah, that was just wonderful. I loved it. In terms of plugs, I mean, you heard it at the top. Tuesdays, either on Nerdsmith or over on Susanna Grace's channel. DMing some fine folk, and hopefully starting up with Inquisitor pretty soon on Mondays, 2 p.m. EST. And God, I love this game. Like, just genuinely, like,
nice.
That. Hats off to you, Virginia, for communicating so much with everything that we sort of planned out beforehand. And
yeah,
just to everyone, just honestly, such brilliant work. Just an honor to be a part of it.
Oh, thanks so much. It's awesome to have you here with us. Cool. Let's move over to Susanna Grace. Fade. Hello.
Oh, hello.
So.
Oh, well.
Yes.
Well, that went from like kind of heartwarming, but there was some sort of ulterior shit in there to oh no, real quick at the end there. That went bad.
You know those scenes you have in your head for like a couple of weeks?
Mm-hmm.
I had that idea just like percolate for a couple of weeks, that little ending there.
It was good.
Yeah.
Mm. Can't wait to find out how much worse it gets.
Oh boy.
Ooh.
That pit of vipers is just getting worse.
Mm-hmm. Full of like boa constrictors now.
Cool. What you got coming up?
So as I mentioned at the top, I have Judge Dredd tomorrow, Sky Chasers on Sunday, Bike Club next Wednesday, and then a little week break whilst I'm in Montreal. But after that, I will be doing some streams where I can. The next week after, I'll be in Toronto. My background will be different. My camera will be terrible, but I'll be there.
Whatever will we do?
I know.
I'm so confused already. No, it's going to be awesome. All right. Well, thank you very much. You're going to stick with me while I do my bit, because I can't be bothered to change the scene. Right. So you just hang tight there.
Yeah, I'll just chill.
Cool. Yeah, but if you haven't already and you're enjoying the show, please follow and possibly subscribe. If you like these lovely people, I'm sharing what I can with these folks from in terms of bits and in terms of subscriptions for what they do, because I thought we'd do this as a little profit share, because I really value their work here, and it's been really amazing so far to game with these lovely people. So not only that, but we're also running playtests for the Spy Game on a Sunday, which is our modern 5e spy adventure, action and espionage RPG. It's all 5e powered, but set in the modern day, and it's all spies, gadgets, gizmos, vehicles, all sorts of cool action adventure, kind of Michael Bay style movie type stuff. It's really, really fun to do. We're not streaming this weekend, but I'm hopefully going to be streaming next weekend, because this weekend I'm off to play a beggar at a LARP because it's fun. And otherwise, check us out at blackcatsgaming.com. You can find me on Twitter, Reddit, all around the internet at RPGWebby as well. And hopefully we'll see you for another one of these next week. They should be going. So thanks to everyone, and see you later. Bye bye.